everyone. Today I am going to explain some cell death pathways. So the cell death pathways are two. One is necrosis and other one is apoptosis. So the necrosis is a series of morphological changes that occur in a lethally injured cell. These changes ultimately will lead to death of cell. It always occurs it always occurs when there is irreversible cell injury, and it is always pathological process. So now what is the necrosis? Actually, is nothing but a series of morphological changes that happens when a cell becomes lethally injured. So now what does it mean by lethally injured? Lethally injured means irreversible injury. When the injury becomes irreversible, then that cell will undergo necrosis. Now, necrosis is always pathological. As we know that we will see the other process when we will discuss apoptosis, and the apoptosis could be physiological or pathological. Okay, but necrosis is always pathological process. It's very important to remember. What caused the necrosis? The causes of necrosis are many. These include trauma, okay, radiations, hypoxia, or toxins like bacterial toxins. They all can cause necrosis. Now let's see what is the mechanism of necrosis. In lethally injured cells, due to deprivation of ATP and pH disturbances, cause protein denaturation. Protein include cell structure protein and functional proteins. Now, we know that the proteins are basically of two types. Either they are the structural proteins or they are the functional proteins. So, what happens that when cell become lethally injured, if we see as in case of hypoxia, when the hypoxia develops and cell become lethally, and if the hypoxia is very prolonged, then ultimately it will causes very different changes. For example, first there could be like anaerobic respiration. And the anaerobic respiration will causes the buildup of lactic acid, and all these acids will disturb the intracellular pH, and that pH can cause protein denaturation. And protein could be structural and functional. So the disruption of the structural protein will cause the cell structural disruption, and disruption of the functional proteins will cause the disruption of the cell function. As the lysosome membrane integrity is lost, lysosomal enzyme release in the cell. Okay, cytoplasm digests the cellular components, that is autolysis. Now, what does it mean? It means that when the protein will denature, or as there will be no ATP, and the loss of ATP will disturb the many like sodium, potassium, ATPases. In these all will cause ionic disturbances inside the cell in all these things, and then as the protein will also then denature in prolonged cases. Protein denaturation will also disturb the membrane integrity, then that will cause the lysosomal enzyme to release into the cell cytoplasm it digests the cellular components, that is autolysis. Okay, so the remaining we will see in the next part of the video. Thank you.